Hi friends, good evening. In this video, I am going to talk about some of the most common mistakes that we as an advertiser make that result in higher cost per result in our for our paid media. Basically these mistakes, because of making these mistakes, whenever we increase our budget, our cost per lead increases, cost per result increases, or if you are running a lead generation webinar, then cost per result increases. So what are these mistakes? First thing, following a complicated media buying strategy. Now, what do I mean by complicated media buying strategy? For example, you are running ad for your client, and now what you are doing is that you are running multiple campaigns. In multiple campaigns, you are doing multiple ad sets, and then you are duplicating those ad sets consistently. So what happens when you duplicate ad sets? When you duplicate ad sets, the ads also get duplicated, and all the previous history, basically, if you duplicate that ad, for example, you duplicated a winning ad. Now, since that ad has been running, for example, let's say 2 months, that ad has been running for 2 months. Now when you duplicate that ad, that 2 month past data for that ad will get erased. But or basically you will pause that ad and you will start the new one, the new duplicated ad, so that the past data will get erased. As a result of that, what will happen? When that data is erased, when that past data is, basically, you do not have a past historic data, as a result you won't be able to make right judgments on the basis of frequency of that ad. If the frequency of that ad would have been 2.5, but the frequency of the duplicated ad will be low. It will because you have launched it recently, duplicated it recently, so the duplicated ads frequency will be, for example, 1 or 1.5. But if we consider the past historic data, its frequency would have been 3. So what will happen? You will think that this is a new ad, this ad must work as a new ad, but this is not the case, because your audience has seen that ad. Because, and when you duplicate that ad, it does not mean that the audience get refreshed, or now that this ad will reach new people. It will continue reaching the same amount of people, same number of people, and high probability that it will reach the same people. As a result, the cost per result will increase, and this has happened with me. I have duplicated the ad, made minor changes and duplicated it, but still the basically the cost per result was higher in the duplicated ad. One of my testimonial ad, there was reaching the frequency of 2.4, no 2.14. I duplicated it. When I duplicated it, I thought it would work like a new ad, but the cost per result for this duplicated ad increased by 1.5 times. So I had to stop that ad. This is how we must This is why it is important to follow a simplified media buying strategy. Now what I do is I have one campaign, one master ad set, and 7 ads are there, and I am running it consistently at a budget of 2000 rupees per day. Whenever now, even though there are budget is small and there are budget constraints, when I keep on adding new creatives with I don't duplicate any creative, rather I add new creative. Whenever I add new creative, the cost per result stabilizes and the ad start working. Basically the account is overall stabilized. So the thing is, you must not duplicate, rather you need to add new creative. You need to test new creative and add new creative every week. As of now I am not able to do every week, but yes, it must be a practice. Every week you must add a new video creative or an image creative. This is the practice that you must follow. Number one mistake. Number two mistake, lack of understanding of the platform. I have talked about this earlier also. What I used to think that same type of ad that we run on Google or YouTube will also work on Facebook. But this is because of my limited understanding that I am now able to overcome. Google and Facebook are different platforms. Google gives you a buying intent audience. When you go to Google, you want to know more about something. For example, you know more about that product, or you are interested in buying that product. So it gives you a high buying intent audience. So what does it give you? It gives you a high buying intent audience. Number one. On the other hand, Facebook is an interruption based platform. People come on Facebook not with the intention of buying something. People come on Facebook not with the intent of buying. Rather, they come on Facebook with the intent of socializing. So, your ad should not technically look like an ad. For example, if I am interested in real estate, I would go to Google and search for that property near me like that. I am interested in buying or renting it out. But when I'm on Facebook, I may or may not be interested in real estate. So but in future, I may be interested. So your ad should not be like that. I want to go there and basically talk about real estate itself. ऐसा ऐड नहीं होना चाहिए. ऐड ऐसा basically it doesn't mean that you should not basically launch these types of ad that target high intent buyers. You should, but along with that, for example, 60% high buying intent and remaining 40% ads should be targeted at low buying intent audience that may not be interested now but may be interested in future. These kind of ads work on the basis of mass desires. This is the way, this is how we must do things. So this was the second mistake, lack of understanding of the platform. And because of this, we don't use the right kind of ads based on platform's understanding. Third mistake, not launching enough creatives. See, basically, whenever you scale, it's not that you launch an ad and you could consistently go on scaling and scaling. No, this is not the thing. Whenever you increase a budget, your budget must have basically at a particular budget you must have a minimum number of winning creatives. For example, 1000 rupees, at 1000 rupees you must have at least 2 to 3 winning creatives. Similarly, at 1500, 2000 rupees, 4 winning creatives. Similarly, at if you are at 5000 rupees ad per day ad budget, then at least 7 to 8 winning creatives you must have. So this is why it is important. This is why it is important to have an SOP, that at what budget, what creative number of creatives you must have. This will help you streamline the process. This is about creative. And then the fourth thing is not setting a realistic target CPR. Not setting a realistic target CPR. So how do we find target CPR? I have shared in earlier in videos, but how basically how do you identify a winning creative? You must have at least 10 attributed events for that within your target CPR for that creative. Now, if you launch a new creative, for example, and your CPR increases, what will happen? Your CPR can decrease, your CPR remains the same, or your CPR will increase. If your CPR decreases, then you can increase the budget. This is the fourth thing, that how to increase the budget. First, you launch the winning creative, that you got 10 plus attributed events within your target CPR when you launch it. And then basically the next thing that comes into picture, you have to increase the budget. But when will you increase the budget? First, you launch the new creative, increase the budget, your target CPR reduces, then you can increase the budget by another 20%. Number one. Number two, if you launch the new creative, your target CPR basically your CPR remains the same, then you will wait for 3 to 4 days and see whether your CPR remains the same, reduces or increases. If it increases, you will stay there. If it reduces, you will increase the budget. And you launch the new creative, your CPR increases. In that case, what will happen, that you will reduce your budget by 20%. To the point where your CPR was stable. And then you will check what problems, what you have done wrong, why your CPR increased, whether it is because of your cost per result, landing page conversion rate. You will build a hypothesis why your cost per result increased, and then on the basis of that you will make the decision. You will not increase the budget, but you will first identify why the CPR increased. So these are the 4 to 5 major mistakes that we commit while running Facebook ads. I hope this video adds value. Till then, bye bye.